there. Welcome to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I am Tammi Mack. So one of Malcolm X's most notable quotes was made during his speech to Black women in 1964. He said, "The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman." He concluded that speech by saying that Black men should be able to lay down their lives to support and protect Black women. But relationships between Black women and men continue to be divided to this day. Do Black women feel supported by Black men? Well, let's get down to business. Please welcome astrologer and author Sonia Marie. Hi, Sonia.
Hello, Tammy. My name is Sonia, by the way.
Sonia. Hi, Sonia.
Hi.
Political activist and founder of Black Guns Matter, Maj Toure.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Happy to be here. Good to see you again, Tammy.
Social justice journalist and award-winning media maker, Lisa Durden is with us. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, thanks for inviting me.
And producer and advocate, Melina Lawrence on deck. Hi there, Melina.
Peace, Tammy. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So we like to kick this off with a traditional question because this is the business of being Black. So why should Black people care about Black men being supportive and protective over Black women? Maj, take it away.
Well, the question is a very layered one. It's simple on the surface, but it's much more layered. When we say, why should Black people care? It's because if there's not that effective balance between the feminine and, masculine energy, especially in our community, which has been under attack since, we were here, then everything falls apart. I think over the last maybe couple of generations, we've seen the outcome of not so stable family life, not so stable and supportive men, and the over emasculation of women that they've had to take on because of the fact that there may have not been as many Black men around to support. So in essence, if this isn't balanced properly, it's going to fall. And we're seeing some of those outcomes right now.
Lisa, why should Black people care?
Well, Black people should care about all Black people, first of all, but we have to understand that the least of us, the most vulnerable, are women and children. So in the Black community, the most vulnerable are Black women and children. Are all Black people vulnerable? Of course. When you're living in a racist society, all Black people are harmed. All Black people are vulnerable. But when you're now taking it strictly to the Black community up against our Black counterpart, Black women and Black girls and Black children are most vulnerable. And you took the statement out of my mouth. I couldn't believe that every single time I look at that quote from Malcolm X, that one line that says the most unprotected person in America is the Black woman, that still stands today in the 21st century, is alarming. So no, by and large, unfortunately, Black women are not protected by Black men. Now, let me be very clear. Is it a Black man's obligation to protect us? No, but I would think that they want to. And what makes me so angry is bad enough we're not protected. Then you have Negroes, my new word, NEED, GROW, need grow. You need to grow. So Negroes like Tory Lanez is running around all through the community screaming, protect Black men, as a way to make his case stronger against Megan Thee Stallion.
We'll start to get into more of that during the course of the show. Melina, why? Why should Black people care whether Black women are protected or not?
Well, you know that saying, we all we got. When you think about we all we got, we cannot separate ourselves from each other. So right. Us caring for one another, us being there for one another, us being accountable to each other is just the beginning of why, and looking at why we should care and why we actually do care about each other as Black men and women.
Sonia?
I believe that we should care so we can get to the art of healing, get to the business of healing. It's time to care. It's time to be compassionate. It's time to go deeper so we can stop putting the heinous and the obligation on them or the other for allowing us to be happy. making sure we're happy, we're healthy, we are loved.
Sonia, I'm gonna stay with you on that. You talk about healing. We should care because we should begin the healing process. How does that look?
Well, to me, it looks like we should care. The women should care about the men and the men should care about the women. We should both look towards one another like, why are you upset? Why are you mad? Why do you feel a particular way? As opposed to pointing fingers at one another, we should get to the bottom line of healing what we feel that we haven't been given.
And that's what I'm asking. What does healing look like to you?
Healing looks like to me just going to the family and seeing, well, I should say this. Going to that man and asking him what he needs. Going to that woman and asking them what they need. Speaking to the heart of people as opposed to their ego, as opposed to what we think should happen or our obligations. No, what's your pain? What are you feeling? What do you need? What do you think you're void of? And with that answer, please, and very please, void of, stay away from the judgment, stay away from the excuses and the pointing fingers and this is wrong, this is right. I don't believe you, this happened. No. Just listen, because everybody's pain is everybody's pain and they have a right to that.
Yeah. So Maj, I believe Lisa said, listen, all. She said all of us. Yeah. So why is there a separation? Why is it that Black women are the most unprotected? What about Black men? Are we on equal standing?
I want to answer what the sister said first. I agree with her. I'm sorry. You talking to me?
Oh, Maj. I'm talking to Maj. My bad.
So it's a few things here. I think that statement used to be true. I don't think that statement by Malcolm, who I honor, I want to be very clear, the Honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, who we all, owe a debt to because he gave his life further of a sacrifice than us because we're still alive. But I think that statement is no longer true. I think that the state, and let me clarify what I mean by that. When we're talking about the other and the separation, we've been conditioned over time by the state, by this government, by certain portions of media to make sure that the real culprit that's kept Black people at each other's throats is the unseen hand. Racism, I'm good with it. It does not have any power until it's sanctioned by the state. Self-hate, all of these things were sanctioned and conditioned into our people. So because they have been very effective at that, by separating the woman from the man, even from, captivity, over time, our women that I love dearly, I have daughters, because we are not aware, or our job as men, as teachers, protectors, leaders, we have not translated and shown who our clear enemy has been over time. So now, and we've separated from that, not understanding the context of why so many women are frustrated with weak men, why so many of the system creating a space where if you were in the 80s, most of those Black men that participated in the illegal activities were gone for some time. So that left a big impact, but we haven't articulated that as a community enough to keep a clear scope on who the actual enemy is. And in doing so, the state has empowered women in a way that the men should have, that almost makes us look like we're useless. So at this point, when you say unprotected, there is a policy, with a trade-off, no doubt, one of it being the destruction of the Black family. There's a policy, an organization or something that's going to consistently support, finance, and help Black women to the detriment of our family. So I want to be clear that that's not us saying women shouldn't be valued. That's saying the state, which created the problem, has presented another problem because they present just our women the so-called solution.
Yeah. Okay. Melina, as a Black woman, do you feel that Malcolm X's statement holds true today?
I think first I want to say I echo what Brother Taj, that's your name, right, brother? Taj? Maj, my bad. Maj said, because then during that time when Brother Malcolm was actually advocating putting his life on the line to protect Black women, Black children, and brothers alike, that period of time, things have changed and shifted, but systemically, it's a mirage. And I think that when we look at the healing process you mentioned, Tammi, how do we heal? And do I think Black women feel protected by Black men? Yes. Yes. As a community that I see, yes, we have systemic problems and backlash. And we also have a cycle of events that occur generationally with solution. I feel like we all solution-oriented beings here. And when you look at the solutions that get cut off, be it in the movement of Black Lives Matter or Black women or within the Me Too or standing with Black girls, there always is this fine line where things just pop up and suddenly silence us all over again. And year after year, we're in a cycle of restoring and repair. Yeah. And the way we can heal that is to not only systemically get to the root with policies that are broken, but also just get with each other. Silence that noise in the mainstream media and scrolling so that we can connect and heal in real time, not reality time, but in real time with each other. And then what Brother Malcolm said, it continuously dissolves over time because, yeah, we still have work to do. However, protecting the Black woman because of slavery, because of institutional racism and incarceration and the welfare system. We ain't talk about that. How it separates Black women and Black men from the household. All of those are deep-rooted issues that if we push forward and unite together in common cause and love and unity, we can heal. We are actually healing.
Let's take a quick break and heal. Welcome back to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I'm Tammi Mack, everybody. Hi there. Today, the business of being Black is, do Black women feel supported? Are they supported? Let's get down to business and welcome my guest today, astrologer and author, Sonia Marie. Hi, Sonia.
Hello, Tammi.
Political activist and founder of Black Guns Matter, Maj Toure. Social justice journalist and award-winning media maker, Lisa Durden is with us. And producer and advocate, Melina Lawrence is on deck. Lisa, I want to ask you, when have you specifically felt protected and supported by a Black man?
Well, let me just talk about healing too. I think that what Black people need to stop doing is ignoring what we see for what we want. We want to believe that things are happening that aren't. So first of all, Black women and girls are still not protected. What Malcolm X said still stands today. Even as recent as September 2020, Black women and girls are so not protected that there's a bill that they introduced in the House around circa 2020 called Protect Black Women and Girls Act of 2020. And they created a task force to deal with the issues. So if you're saying that this is happening, that we're being protected, why must there be a bill? So we want to believe we're protected, and that's nice. The notion's cool, but we're not. So how do we heal? We must start to admit what's going on. And we're all Black. We know that we don't like putting the dirty laundry out there, but the laundry's dirty. And let's clean up the laundry. We see so many examples that Black women aren't protected. Now, I'm not saying individual Black women, I'm saying by and large. So the question about me, do I feel protected by specific Black men? My dad, my three brothers? Yes. But do I feel protected walking through the streets when I'm sharing something about I was raped in a date and somebody's going to attack me and say, why was I there? Which has happened to me, and on and on and on. Example, how do we allow Black girls and women to be raped over and over again by R. Kelly with impunity for years? He married a 15-year-old. That's rape because he consummated the marriage all the way until circa 2019 or whenever the Surviving R. Kelly film came out. We did nothing. When Dream Hampton jumped on that project and became the executive producer, the film came out and then he was arrested. But until then, Black men did not protect us. On top of the fact that these girls were being raped over and over again by him with impunity, Black men, by and large, blamed the girls, women too, but I'm gonna put Black women to the side because I know why we do it. We live in a patriarchal society and we are kind of like the abused becomes the abuser. I'm gonna put us to the side because this
I somewhat agree. I somewhat disagree.
Let me finish my point, sir, brother. I'll let you finish your point. So let me finish my point. So Black men allowed that to happen in the music industry. Black men, by and large, in our community allowed it to go on. And still to this day, I battle men online about it. I specifically ask men every single time when something comes up about the case. I ask Black, they the girls wanted to get a contract. They were hoes. The girls were thoughts. I ask every single time I battle with men, I do something. I go, I battle back and forth. Then I go, let me ask this question. Every single time I ask this question, bruh, let me ask you a question. I typed this online. If this was your daughter, would you be saying she's a thought? Every single time I ask
you make an excellent point, Lisa.
They never come with the wrong answer. They go, oh, if it was my daughter, it'd be different. Well, then those girls are somebody else's daughter. So this is what's going on over and over again now. It's nothing new.
Maj, you wanted to respond?
Yeah, I somewhat agree. The parts I'll go with, the fruits first because they taste better. The fruits where I agree is you can't have 300,000 Black women missing in a year and it's not being addressed as a pandemic and then say Black women are protected. That doesn't go together. It just doesn't. It's just not true. So that's that part that I do agree with. The part that I disagree with, we got to look at the other component. As someone that does have daughters, we got to, this is the word that I think where we misconstrue certain levels of accountability. Certain levels of accountability, that does not mean, oh, you dressed like a thought, so you deserved it. That's just, that guy's flat out wrong. But if you're putting yourself, when there's actual psychopaths out here, and that is not the vast majority of Black men, when there's actual psychopaths, weirdos, rapists, and things like that, when you say, well, I don't have to think about that, I'm not going to be armed, I'm not going to think about personal protection, I get to do whatever I want. Now, there is a certain level of freedom that goes along with life. But again, there are weirdos out here. So I think that level of certain accountability, we have to acknowledge, as well as when you bring up the R. Kelly situation, you can't just limit it to R. Kelly. We still got to address Elvis Presley. We still got to address.
We got to address our daddies, our uncles, the coach. It's not just outside people. It's usually somebody you know. So it's your mama's brother, boyfriend.
Right. Sonia,
it's the cousin.
When has there been a time? When has there been a time, Sonia, that you felt protected by Black men?
At the cigar bar.
I love it.
and I say that
there. Wow.
I say that in a comical way, but I say that in a real way. I say that in a way in which I feel like when we are in a space in which we as Black people feel comfortable, we do Black things. When we feel like there's a family around and we're at the barbecue, at the cigar bar, our men are always on deck. You always see them propped in a position where their back is not against the door or, away from the door. Like it's very, very obvious. I think when it starts to change for me, when I feel unprotected, is when our men are comparing themselves to the trends, to the masses, to money hungry situations and systems in which they look at us as a second thought because they got to get that money, or they look at us as a second thought because they have to be in competition with another type of man, the white man, another job position or whatever the case may be. Then I feel like a second thought.
Melina, do we perpetuate this thought that Black men don't protect Black women? I hear Maj when he says 300,000 Black women are missing, no one's addressed it. We're not making a big deal. We're not marching in the middle of the street. But there are probably as many or more white women who go missing as well. And so my question becomes, as Black people, do we perpetuate this idea that our Black men are thugs, that our Black men don't protect us? Is this just bad propaganda?
I think it's twofold. And the reason why I say yes, Tammy, is because I'm saying it from the perspective of the image of the Black man, the image of the Black woman, the image of Black children, even at times when we're perpetuated repeatedly until now, when we're pushing buzzwords like diversity, inclusion, again, playing off of Black Lives Matter, when it's not a game to even play. And over time, historically speaking, in entertainment, be it in music, in movies, we have Black men, even on billboards, you still see them now where Black men and women are pretty much shirked or cut out or isolated and marginalized and stereotyped as thugs, as rapists, as the bad guy, when typically in Black settings, and I'm not negating nothing in regards to Black girls being pushed out of schools and out of society in high rates. But what I'm looking at and what I'm saying yes to, as far as the perpetuation of the Black man being stereotyped, is that his image, if the reciprocal of that is the Black man's image being thugged out, now we're starting to have more Black voices and writers and directors and creators to the forefront on their own. We're pushing Black images, positive Black images, against stereotype, against the machine, a huge machine. And now that we're pushing our own narratives, pushing our own looks, pushing our cultural narratives in the language of film, it's shifting the long stereotypes from Black and whites stereotyped in Oscar shows and blackface to like now the Black man, the Black woman is a king, is a queen. And if we don't push that message and self-correct ourselves, then yes, we'll be stuck with perpetuated stereotypes and disunify on purpose.
Is it a perpetuation, Maj?
As always, we care about the Black man's image. We're always centering Black men. Right here in this conversation, we're talking about the Black man's image and how he's being called these names, which is actually true.
Oh, that's thought before you call another name, Lisa. I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome back to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I'm Tammi Mack. The business of being Black today is, are Black women protected? Do they feel protected? Okay, so is the call to protect Black women all inclusive in our communities? Like Black women are only supported when the optics are socially accepted. We did a lot of talk about Dream Hampton's R. Kelly, surviving R. Kelly. And it seemed as if a lot of Black men were on board with that once that happened. But much like Lisa mentioned, prior to that, Black men were not on board with it. And we can probably name a few of those instances where it's happened. I go all the way back to Mike Tyson even, and Tupac Shakur even. Black men immediately rallied around the celebrity that was. Can we speak to that, Sonia?
That's such a layered situation, Tam. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll try to attack it in this way. In regards to R. Kelly in that situation, when I was 14, I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. Coming up in Yonkers, New York, and coming up the way that I came up, if I was 14 and I met R. Kelly, I probably would have got down with R. Kelly. And I'm only saying that because of the celebrity. I'm only saying that because he was fine. I'm only saying that because, right? And that leads me to the answer is, I think sometimes it's all selective. It's all relative. And at some point, we have to, as a collective, have like a bottom line. And there's no bottom line. Grandma was always that bottom line. There was always some wisdom that came in the door that said, nope, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z. We're so free right now with so many different options and different perspectives and ways to look at things, ourselves, our people, our children, our money status, and all of these things, right? That we don't have a bottom line as a community any longer. So Tammi, that's quite layered. I don't necessarily know how to answer that, but I do know that we need to.
Line be?
Our bottom line is respect, man. In my opinion, our bottom line is respect and love. And we have to find that somewhere. We have to be able to look each other in the eye and see the love in one another, see the heart and compassion and respect in one another. We don't see that any longer because a lot of people on the planet are desperate right now. There's a huge wave of desperation. And I really think that situations are going to get worse before they get better. But in regards to us and Black people loving each other, we got to ante up. We got to call emergency out this mug and come together, like we said at the top of this show, and try to find some healing in it all again.
I got to jump in there.
Go ahead, Maj.
There's the standard is being met. When we're talking about some of these celebrity scenarios, those things were hidden. These like when the sister Lisa said, Dream Hampton bringing something to light, if you were not in that industry, other than the marriage, and even that, when you heard about it, it was kind of, this was way, the Aaliyah marriage, that was damn near 2 decades ago. At that point, information wasn't as plentiful. So I want to be clear that Black men didn't just stand by and allow that to happen. I think a lot of white corporate puppets and things like that allowed that to happen because he was a moneymaker for them, right? So that's one part. That when you're talking about the Mike Tyson thing, Mike Tyson and Tupac, they were not convicted of rape. Tupac was convicted of in essence, the touching the buttocks of a woman that gave him, oral sex on a nightclub floor in Vegas 2 weeks before that. As someone that has been falsely accused of rape, okay, we gotta put that part in there too. There's a lot of men that are being taken advantage of and lied to because of this. Thank God I had my false rape accusation before I came internet famous. Right. But the reality is that the standard that needs to be met, to the sister Sonia's point, is men, when we find out about these things, have to be okay with putting hands on other men. I know some other women may not want to hear that, but the reality is I'm good with violence. If physical violence is a deterring element from stopping men of any ethnic group from disrespecting our Black women, it's time to get back to putting paws on people. And I think what happens is because, like the sister said, we get caught up in this. We got to have a look. We got to look like we the coolest. We got to look like we don't care about our people. That's lame. That's lame. And if I find out in my community that you're doing anything to any of the women in my community, we're going to physically assault you. And we're going to solve some of these problems that way. I think that's a standard that everyone, grandma may not be able to do it, but grandpa, dad, uncle, cousin, and brother
so
can.
Raj, we just going to go around beating people up.
Let me have a better way to fix it. I have a better way to fix it.
I mean, Sonia said, let's lead with love. And you like, let's lead with these hands.
That's leading with tough love. Sometimes people in our community have to learn the hard way. And it ain't nothing wrong with a little straightening. We ain't talking about killing nobody. I would rather the brothers put gloves on, go handle that business. And that young man or whoever knows that this ain't how we moving in this space.
We know that the violence escalates. We know that the violence definitely escalates into, gunshots.
But what if it doesn't?
Black men putting hands on each other is not the way to go. You can try. Go ahead, brother. I'm not mad at you. But here's what I suggest. I suggest we start with some simple things like acknowledging that there's Black male privilege and misogyny running rampant through the Black community like it's on steroids, which is precisely why Black women are not protected. We need protection and we deserve protection. But Black men dismiss Black male privilege. They say there's no Black male privilege. Let me just break it down. No, Black men don't have privilege up against his white male or white female counterpart. We know that. Let me finish, brother. I didn't jump. Hold on, brother. I let you finish. Black people have no privilege up against their white counterpart. We're talking specifically about within the Black community. There is a real thing called Black male privilege against their Black female counterpart. There is a thing called misogyny. Until Black people realize that's a real thing, you can punch each other up all you want, but we're going to get back to home base, which is Black women will not be protected until Black men realize that they're acting out in these ways, and these are the reasons.
I can't let that ride. It sounds, Sister Lisa, all you sisters on the platform, I love and respect and care for all of you deeply. I'll catch a case for any one of y'all. That's all day. At the end of the day, what I'm saying in that space is we can't on one hand say someone disrespects. I'm not talking about just saying some bad words. Someone disrespects, rapes, sexually assaults the women in our community. There has to be some sort of accountability for that. So we can't on one hand say we want men to protect us and defend us, and then we make it almost okay for there to be no physical repercussions for doing that to our women. We can't do that. You gotta let men be men. In a certain space, you gotta let men be men.
Hold that thought.
I don't have to let a man be a man. You should automatically be a man. I can't let you be a man. You should be a man.
If you're stepping in the way and saying men got to deal with protecting women, that sounds like a bit of a cop-out, Sister Lisa.
We can't keep giving women jobs. Black women don't have the job to make you be a man.
That's not what I said. That's not. No. Stop right there. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You're taking what I'm saying out of context.
I don't think
what I'm saying is
interpreting what he's saying in a different way than he meant it, Lisa. But Melina, I hear what Maj is talking about, and I do believe that is all the way to the right. So I want to move somewhere in the middle. When I was a little girl, I remember sitting on, I think it was maybe my uncle's lap, right? And my father said, no, you will not sit on a man's lap. That in itself is a sign of protecting Black women. So I think there are other ways to protect Black women. I mean, we're talking an extreme circumstance when we say, you know, rape and disappearing, you know, kidnapping them, and we come at us physically. That's an exaggerated version that, you know, that could definitely happen and has in several occasions. So I understand you, Brother Maj, for sure. But let's talk about the simplicity of protecting Black women. Perhaps when a woman is walking down the street and a man tries to get with you and he said, all right, then bitch, going on. And then what about the other man putting that man in check? Obviously, that doesn't require a punch in the face.
That's right, Tammy. No, that's right. And excuse me, sis, for cutting you off. I'm listening to the extremities, and it's not ignoring that those.
Hold that thought. We've got to go to commercial break, Melina. When we come back, we're coming dead on you. So write those notes down so you can get right back into it. We're going to take a quick break on Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack on Foxsoul. We'll be right back. I promise you. Welcome back to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I'm Tammi Mack, and the business of being Black today is, are Black women being protected by Black men? Our panel today is astrologer and author Sonia Marie, political activist and founder of Black Guns Matter, Maj Toure, social justice journalist and award-winning media maker Lisa Durden, and producer and advocate Melina Lawrence. Melina, let's talk about it.
I know before we went to break, we had some extremities, and if we just bring it back, Tammy, you said, you know, when you were little, your dad said, get off that man's lap, but don't sit on a man's lap. When I was young, and still to this day, when I walk with Black men, talk with Black men, they secure me from the outside, the little subtleties bringing me on the inside, walk on the outside of me, and then walk me to the car when we at the cookout, at the party, at the club. Sis, where are you going? How far are you parked? These are Black men in my life demonstrating those little things, calling me just to check on me during the times of quarantine. You good? Are you safe? Telling me I need martial arts in my life, or I need to go to the gun range, or I need to make sure that I'm mindful of my surroundings, knowing if I'm by myself or moving in these streets by myself. I have Black men in my life, and I know of Black men who protect Black women, not just in my community here in California, but throughout the country. So that demonstration, be it by your father, Tammy, my dad, my first teacher. Now, I'm not getting into, was my father present? Was he there? Did he have hangups? Did he have shortcomings? Not just my dad, but Black men that I've dated. I mean, if we getting real and we want to be real about the shortcomings of a Black man, but the essence of a Black man, the role of Black men and women, those consequences are rough. They can be staggering, or they can just be, when I say the consequences, I was talking about the reactions earlier between Black men and women feeling protected, and what that extremity looks like if a Black man is holding it down in his community or in his household. Because when we stop giving permission of people entering our families that don't belong, or sizing up our community and our girls and our boys in our communities without checking them, that's an undisciplined community. That's what we're seeing in mainstream now. So to create discipline, accountability, to show love, sometimes it's tough. I had tough love, and I'm okay. But I also have a consciousness, and that's what we got to promote consciously. What does protection look like? That's what protection looks like for me as a Black woman. And I can say for sure with ingredients that there are Black men in this country and globe that have secured my safety, no matter what, even if we in disagreement. So it's a principle. It's right. A principle, and it's a must, and it's a role. And I will not negate the fact that it exists, because we have to persist in that. And if we don't, then we see more staggering numbers and increase in our jails, increase on our streets, Black on Black crime. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional.
In here.
I'm sorry, you called on me?
Yeah.
So good. So because I was over here going crazy, percolating. I love to defend Brother Maj and say that, first of all, I agree on some level, throw hands. But more importantly, I agree in boundaries. We cannot be violent almost always, 100% of the time. But in my defense to him, what I believe he was saying, it was about the boundaries. When I was growing up, I couldn't stand hearing grown men say to me at a 10, 11-year-old, oh, girl, you're going to be fine when you get older. That's some microaggression, like coming at you, not making you feel safe. As a shorty, and a grown man is looking at my behind and my waistline. The boundaries need to be in place. And in addition to that, what I got from Maj was the fact that he's like, if we set up these boundaries and when we tell them this is not what you're going to do, we are literally teaching people how to love us, how to respect us. You won't have to throw hands after a while. You won't have to get incarcerated after a while. It will be embedded in you to not mess with our sisters. Bottom line, point blank.
I want to also jump in and say that I agree with both of the sisters. Absolutely true. So I'm gonna echo that by saying Lisa Durden as the person. All the Black men in my life, men I've dated, some were nice, some weren't. I have a father and 3 brothers. I have uncles. Never felt endangered. No kind of thing like that. Always felt protected specifically. We're talking about a micro issue and a macro issue. So on a micro level, I feel that. On a macro level, we need to have it more globally within the community. So I'll give you an example. When I'm in the streets, my brother's not there, my uncle's not there, my father's not there, nobody's there that I know, I don't feel protected. Example, and I have many of them. I'll just throw one recent one out. I go to Harlem all the time and I park in New York. Y'all know it's hard to park there. So I'll be seeing these crazy ass cones in New York. Y'all know those are not official cones. You're trying to hold a spot. I toss those bad boys on the sidewalk and I'm back in my car up in the spot. So this one day, I was doing the same thing I always do, and I knew this ain't Con Ed. I'm backing in. A woman and a man jumped in front of my car. One got in front, one got in the back, and was like, you can't park there. The bodega had been watching that spot. I deduced that. So I get out my car, and they're like basing on me, blah, blah, blah. Broad daylight. Brothers in front of the store are letting these 2 people gang up on me. I'm scared. It's all get out. I don't know if I'm going to be hit, shot, stabbed. They said nothing. Becky with the good hair, because Harlem's being gentrified, jogs down the street with her ponytail. Not only did she feel like she didn't even flinch, she's jogging through all these Black men, bounced through them, came back down. This took about an hour of us having a war. Not one Black man said anything to out of the way. Not one Black man catcalled her, because they know to harm Becky, they're going to get their heads busted open. But they let these 2 people harm me, yell at me, curse me out, call me every B in the book. I did not feel protected. But Becky didn't even feel scared. Why was I even scared in my own Black neighborhood? That's the micro level, not the macro level like your brother and your cousin and your boyfriend. The micro level. We need to be lockstep with all Black men, not just Black men we know. We get that. All Black men should be on board, protecting us at all times, every day, every place, all day and night, period.
Lisa makes a point when she talks about the difference between the way white women are protected and Black women are protected. So let's get into that. Do brothers back down because they know the consequences that will go awry if they mess with a white woman versus a Black woman? Maj, look like you're trying to get in on it.
We talking about what there needs to be. So one, yes. And that's a weak brother that is submitted to the conditioning, has very little knowledge of self, does not understand the power and divine feminine that the Black woman is and will forever be. That brother absolutely needs a reverse engineering, but that brother exists, and it's unfortunately in a collective.
But Sonia, this is true. I'm sorry to cut you off because I want to get a point in here. But wouldn't you understand those brothers, Maj? You're a very different look. I've had you on the show before. You think differently. You move differently, Maj. You are not the rule. You're the exception. So wouldn't you understand? Because those consequences exist. And we've seen it in several circumstances where something is done to a Black woman and you're going, there are zero consequences. And I'm talking about governmental consequences, consequences like jail, consequences like death. But then if something happens to a white woman,
over.
The consequences exist. So there are fear amongst Black men to like, oh, let me stay away from her because she is protected by America.
We're talking about my statement of creating our own standard. When I said anyone that physically violates, to the sister Sonia's point, you cross the boundary, whatever that boundary is, we're gonna let that punishment fit that crime.
Right.
When I say that, this is the unfortunate part about our sisters, right? You guys love us so much, right? That when we start standing up like that and willing to be, I don't care. I got bail money. If I'll catch that case when Sister Lisa, right? Yeah. I'm saying something. And to your point, Tammy, it's not because I became the exception because I understand the rules and I apply a standard. Okay. And that's the standard that needs to happen. But because you all love us so much, a lot of times you've allowed us to not create and maintain and stand on that standard because you fear for us the same way that some of those weak men fear for the system. And that has to go. You got to neutralize that. You understand? When I said to the sister, let men be men, I'm not saying it as if we have to accept the woman to allow us to be men in the sense of we can only do it without, with women's approval. What I mean by that is you have to step back and let the male chips fall where they may. These brothers are only going to chase in my center, my corner, 29.
Hold that thought on your corner. We got to take a break.
Yeah.
Man.
Welcome back to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I'm Tammi Mack. Maj, before we left, you were talking about what your organization does to help. But I want to say this, when you talk about letting a man be a man, and I know, you and Lisa were going through that conversation and you explained it, but it does bring me to the point, and Lisa, I want to ask you, has the stereotype of Black women being too strong created the illusion that they don't need help or want to be protected by Black men, and how this has been harmful, or has this rather become harmful to Black women?
Absolutely. We see it all the time. I get this. I'm single. I'm child-free, not childless. We see it all the time, everywhere, not just with celebrities. That's why you ain't got no man now. Oh, you too strong. Why don't you calm down? See, like we get it from women too. So we get this narrative. And the same thing, for example, with the Meg Stallion thing, because she's popping and she drops in and she's strong. She couldn't be shot in the foot. Yes, this happens all the time. I'll give you another example. I produce films about women a lot, not just women, but women and girls a lot. Literally, I produced a film about girls called Girls Matter. I'm promoting the film online, and a black man said, how come you didn't do one about Black boys? Literally, really, boy? Seriously, dude? So these are the things that happen to us. We can't even, so no one's standing up for us. Right? Generally, by and large. And when we stand up for ourselves, you're too much, calm down. And then if you're strong, that's when you got no man now. This is all the narrative. We're called welfare queens, we're called crack whores, we're called side chicks, we're called gold diggers. So when I get my degree, I can't get a man because I'm too strong. When I don't get a degree, I'm a side chick and I'm a gold digger. So like, what is it? So Black women are constantly under attack and assault, not only by the white community, but by the Black community. That's
a great point you make, Lisa. We do have all kinds of names that surround us for some reason. Melina, why do Black women have all of these names that we're crack whores? The
labels, the labels are unending. I mean, this year is hashtag side chick. Hashtag, the hashtag.
I have them called hashtags. That's what I started doing.
Yeah, and that's relative too. But to answer your question, the reason as to why, agree or disagree, the Black woman is a queen, is a goddess, is period dot. So to suppress the Black woman, to elevate her standard to who she really is, first of all, systemically and living in a white dominated society, when you suppress and try to keep her in check with all these negative labels, and be it in music, be it in image, be it in word, and be it in action, Yeah, body shame her because she got a big butt. We come from Hottentots. We it just is what it is. Whether you got breast, behind, or whatever, a Black woman, she has it all. And as women, knowing that we confidently have it inside, outside, all, when you push that, you're pushing down your white counterparts, and that's a problem in our society.
Yeah. I was triggered a little bit when Sonia said that, about we got to stop Black men from telling 15-year-olds that, oh, you're going to be fine when you.
I remember that. I used to get that too. And it's not okay. But we do need our men to let other boys, not just men, boys becoming men, know what's okay and what's not. But we also have to make sure that as we identify roles, and roles are changing in our society with all the genders in and out, the gender balances and the conversations of identity within the gender realm, as a Black man and as a Black woman, that's us. So it is our responsibility to let each other know what that looks like, what protection looks like, what love and unity looks like, and what's just not allowed, what's not okay. In order to protect our girls, protect our women, we also have to participate in that conversation with each other.
Melina, tell us about Polytainment Report.
Oh, the Polytainment Report is simply generational content. We promote justice, we promote generational dialogue so that we can actually get to the root of what it is to be Black and what it is to be a cultural society that is truly inclusive through policies and action and culture.
I love that.
Sonia, tell us about your book, an astrological memoir.
It's called The Signs, an Astrological Memoir. I wrote it in the light of talking about the sun signs, but also speaking of the fact that we all have every sign in us. And at times we can activate them in that energy within us in order to heal, to bring me to this point in this conversation. I'm going to continue to say that. I am in the business of healing. And as long as we can see ourselves and see our faults as women, we will not accept those names that we've been given. We will not accept the things that they say about us if we know ourselves. We have to start with us first. We cannot point the finger at anyone else because they're saying this, they're doing that, they're treating us a particular way. What do you feel about you is the real question, and then go from there.
Maj, Black Guns Matter. Talk about it.
We now have a solutionary center, community center. We have yoga, health and wellness, finance. We just had Kimberly Latrice Jones here doing New York best-selling author. She did a writing class for young people there last week. Firearms classes for women as well. Women need to be protected. Women also need to protect themselves. And even if you're not comfortable with firearms, you can come learn about some personal protection, self-defense, situational awareness. Our location is in Philadelphia. You can check us out on the website, solutionarylifestyle.org. All of this is free classes to everyone, completely voluntarily crowdfunded. And I appreciate you all. All of you ladies, I'm going to get y'all contact or email. You absolutely are welcome to come take a course. Absolutely. Everything for free. There. We got you.
Where are you, on the East Coast, Maj?
Yeah, we in Philly, but we do classes everywhere. And if the building is ours, so if y'all want to fly out, we can fly you out. We have a rooftop deck with a whole apartment on the top floor. Y'all can stay in the community and not have to worry about hotel accommodations or anything like that as well.
That's amazing. I'll actually be in Philly in July, so I might holler at you in July.
Yep.
Lisa, you talked about Girls Matter, Blind Divas.
Yes, girl, Blind Divas is a short documentary in production, woohoo, that follows two young ladies, Crystal Allen and Laquilla Wright Prevost. These are two blind, extraordinary women who are Black, who lost their sight, but did not lose their vision for life. This is not just a film. It's a film that seeks to inspire people. It aims to motivate. This is a story that shines. When it comes out, I'll make sure I come back on and promote it more. So thank you for the little plug, the shameless plug.
You got it. Melina, I didn't get to ask you about Emerging Color.
Oh, so Emerging Color is coming up during Juneteenth weekend at the Beverly Center on the 7th floor on the 7th floor of the Beverly Center. Basically, the Black fashion movement Polytainment.com. Myself, I'm a board member of Name It, which we're partnering to help sponsor this event. It's a 5-week high fashion event where we're actually using art and fashion to celebrate and curate those Black designers who place in space their good creations. But not only that, it's tied to economic empowerment so that we can support our own in regards to high fashion and beauty. And so it's a place where we can spend our own dollars and circulate them to keep thriving.
So before we go, we were talking about protecting Black women. Will Smith said he was being a protector when he slapped Chris Rock. I need a yes or no only answer. Should Will Smith have slapped Chris Rock under the protection laws of Black women that we're talking about today? Lisa, yes or no?
No.
Melina?
No.
Sonia?
No.
Maj, I'm waiting.
I think he took it too far.
Let him
but
be
I
man.
completely
Yes or
understand.
no? Cocktails with the Queens are up next. Thank you for being on the business of being Black. Tammi back.